So, welcome back everyone. Unfortunately, Nuthead's mic has gave out, so I've came off track to jump back in with JSRSnakez to finish off the commentary, but we are now live and can get underway.
Yes, hopefully without many more problems. We've got 7 racing today, which is a bit short, but I think that's because, 1, a lot of people hate Singapore, and 2, a lot of people are watching the football.
Yes, I think that's the main case, is people watching the football, but it should still be a decent race. So we'll see how it goes. But so Killian, Welty, Dasher, and I'll just call him Bram, are currently out on track. Artie's still in the pits. I don't know who was out first. Did you see who came out first, Jack?
I think it was Killian that came out first, because he's furthest along the track. He's now going into the chicane section in sector 3.
So we will jump on board with Killian and watch. Yeah, but I think following on from what Nuthead was saying is this track, I think you're right as well. A lot of people don't like this track because of how long it is, and it's just, I wouldn't say it was unbearable, it's just not fun to drive. As we actually have someone else joined. I think that was was that KJ Gamer?
KJ's sort of like phasing in and out of the lobby because of his connection, so I don't know if he's actually going to stay in for much of the race, because it is, was it 35 laps?
Yeah,
oh, it's
31
laps.
I think. Is it not?
I think it's
is it
66 laps in total, so that would be 33 laps, I think.
Yeah, 33.
Let's look this up.
Well, all I can say is I'm actually quite glad I'm not driving this one, because I really don't like Singapore, but it's
31 laps.
Just have a look.
It would be.
Yeah, 31. It looks like we've definitely lost Trolled. He's not able to make it back in, so if KJ manages to jump in, we'll be running around this track with 6 drivers.
That's going to be a bit of a shortage, so this is probably what we thought was going to be a very major qualifying session. Not that major, because there's only 6 drivers.
Yeah, there's, I mean, it's obviously it's okay when the World Cup's on because people want to watch it, but I mean, it doesn't matter unless it's you're spending time with your family or you're doing stuff like this. If you just want to go away and watch the World Cup, then I mean, why did you sign up for league racing in the first place? It just doesn't make sense to me. But obviously everybody does get excited about the World Cup as Killian puts in the fastest lap with 1:39.8, but Welty actually was a lot quicker. In fact, he actually was 1.3 seconds quicker. Yeah, so, but I mean, I was watching the football earlier, so
that was scenes earlier. I will give it that.
Yeah.
I don't normally watch football, but that was mental.
It was that mad actually that when I was on F1XL Extra, Gareth actually asked me what I thought about Germany being put out of the World Cup, and I think the first response I gave him was it was shocking to me, because Germany normally don't get knocked out then, but just they had so many problems with South Korea, so it's just one of those things. But yeah, so having a look, Bram has actually put in a lap as well, 1:38.6, so he's currently 1/10 behind Welty. Artie's currently out on track as well, and so is Dasher, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with obviously with Artie, see what he can do, Dasher as well, because I remember at the start of Nuthead stream you were talking about the championship, and if I remember correctly, quite close.
The top
I've
two
not actually looked at the
is very
standings.
close. But
Yeah.
constructors-wise, top 2 is very close.
Yeah.
What's
So
the yellow flag for?
someone's.
Dasher.
Yeah. I thought it was Dashers. Well, that's an interesting way to take the corners.
Lost his front wing with us. Straight.
Yep.
Was he on a flying lap then? I think he was.
I think it was. Yeah. Pretty sure it was.
Very little margin for error in the Singapore Grand Prix over such a long distance. So getting a qualifying lap here, along with Canada, because of all the invalidations you can get there, is probably one of the most challenging, as the Renault goes through the Williams. Probably one of the most challenging places to qualify.
Yeah, well, I mean, Singapore, I would say Singapore's not... It's difficult, it really is difficult. The one I find most difficult to race and qualifying on is Monaco, because, I mean, one slip and it's a permanent penalty that you receive because you're out the race, because the walls come at you so quick. But it's... Bram's just put in the comments, it's your boy. Yep. Sitting second place, so well done for that. But we'll see, because the race can actually change a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's... I would definitely say this would rank up there with the likes of Monaco and obviously Canada, because some of the corners at Canada you can easily lose it, and the minute you invalidate it, it's I'd actually probably say one of the worst ones to try and qualify, and especially if you make a mistake, is Silverstone, because the pit lane's so long. If you don't get back in time and then come out, you've just completely lost all hope of putting in a lap.
With Silverstone, any tyre could be the fastest tyre at Silverstone, depending on what the temperature is, because those hard tyres can work very well if the track is hotter, especially the medium as well. And you'll actually find a lot of the time around Silverstone, the soft is the slowest tyre, depending on what the track conditions are like.
Actually, to further hammer home on your point, I did actually run round Silverstone on the softs, and the pace is just so slow, especially even if you have really good downforce for obviously the corners and going through Maggots and Beckett's. It's just the guys behind you or in front of you just gain such pace over the softs. It's just unreal. It's a weird feeling actually to see someone on the mediums and you're on the softs take off and just disappear away from you. It's just you sit and think to yourself, okay. But I mean, all the tracks have different, obviously different tyre compounds that work better. But it just comes. I think it comes down to their setups as well, because obviously the more like windy tracks like Monaco, you would want as much downforce as possible, but then you're going to need some for the straight coming off the last corner. Like here as well in Singapore, you've got some corners, you've got some straights, you've got a mix of everything, so you need to kind of balance it. But to make it perfect, I don't think any driver's ever made it perfect. They've had a really good setup and it's helped them either win or get podium, but it's one of the hardest things ever, is just to try and figure out what setup, because that's one of the things that I have problems with when I go into a race. I try and figure out, well, what am I going to need them. I actually had a race yesterday and the car was sliding all over the place, so I moved my downforce to 1 and the car stopped sliding. So it can just be as simple as moving downforce and then that's it. Didn't gain enough speed right enough, but still.
Also, with Monaco, you can find Monaco's a bit strange because it is challenging, obviously, because of the track layout. But in terms of corner cutting, it's surprisingly lenient, because I've seen a lot of world record runs where people have had all 4 wheels off the track by quite a considerable amount, and they've still managed to get through the corner without penalty with the lap invalidation.
the best example of that is the S section just before the final just before the second last corner. The swimming, I think it's called the swimming pool section.
Yeah.
That you come through. That's actually, for me, that's actually one of the hardest corners to take at Monaco, because you have to think about where you're placing your car, and you have to think about the speed that you're coming into the corner, and if you make a mistake, you either run off to the left, which is a little bit more forgiven because you've got obviously the runoff. But if you do a Max Verstappen and clip the inside wall, you're going into the wall on the inside on the next turn, and it's just, it's one of the hardest places. I mean, I felt for Max when he did it, but then again, he done it 2016, 2018, I think. So, or 17 was it? No, it was this year. Yeah. So it's. Dasher's actually put in the fastest lap, 1:37.7.
Faster than anyone else.
And he retires.
Yeah, I was looking at his
we do
setup,
have,
and it's not very tidy lap. Very, very tidy lap. No lockups. Bit squeezy on the throttle in low speed corners, but apart from that, it's very, very tidy lap.
well, we have a couple of comments as well from Barca Mascot, who I would believe is probably Welty. He says, my lap was disgusting, more slidey than a banana peel. And then Bram says, my lap was bad as well. And then he's just put same here. So obviously some of the drivers feeling like the track's not up to par as Welty's doing. Now donuts for us, which I mean, fair enough, the qualifying session's finished. He's basically qualified in P2 unless Bram can actually put something together. He's actually on the final corner now, so we'll see if he's...
You see how slidey that Renault was going through the final chicane?
Oh, he does! He puts himself into P2 with a 1:38.3, so he's pushed Welty down to third. Killian is on a lap as well, so this could possibly be Welty down to fourth if Killian has put together a good lap. I don't think he has, he's not. So Killian finishes in fourth. I have no idea what was happening with Artie.
No, he just didn't come out.
Yeah,
I think he ran out of time
in P5. Which is not, it's not like Artie, he's also in the super softs as well. So, but yeah, there we have it. Dasher takes pole position with Bram closely behind him, 5/10 as well. He takes P3, and Killian's in P4 with the 1:39 flat, and then we have Enigma Artie, who, if memory recalls, actually only did one lap and then came back in.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he has problems or he's just maybe wanting to save it for the race and make up places, because I mean that's what I do. I start from the back, it avoids all the collisions and in front of you, and you can just try and make places, and then it also saves your tyres as well, because you're only doing one lap on qualifying, and then your tyres are mostly not too bad. But it looks like we do not have Killian either.
Killian was rejoining and leaving so many times in that session. I would have just given up personally as well. I don't blame him.
If it's not stable, then I mean, there's not. He's on holiday. I think he's on holiday. So I mean, he's not really expected to race when he's on holiday. It's understandable. His internet's not going to be the most stable because of it's a probably public Wi-Fi he's using, so it's not going to be the most stable. But it was nice of him to try though and try and get into the race. But it looks like we're going to be kicking off this race with 5 drivers, so it may be interesting because, well, yeah, these guys mainly have the same pace. So, but we're on 5 red lights and it's lights out. Slow start from everyone, maybe a little bit of lag, as Welty's actually moved. Oh, a little bit of sandwich in there, as I think Killian's actually fallen down the order, so Artie's now up into P3. Welty got squeezed a little bit by... okay, hold on, something's not right here.
Oh. Is your leaderboard?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, the leaderboard was a bit messed up there. Bram's actually in second, so Bram and Dasher were fighting going into turn 1. As Bram almost runs into the back of Dasher, and Welty got squeezed a little bit. Artie's pulled himself up to P4 with passing Killian, so not the best start from Killian, but I mean, they've got a long way to go, still 30 laps to go, so they're definitely in for a long one. But it looks like Welty may actually be mounting an attack on Bram.
Yeah, this year has a start quite reminiscent of 2005 in Indianapolis, where the Ferraris actually almost did hit each other. The scenes of that did happen. But anyway, that was fairly straightforward. I mean, I think Killian lost a bit of his front wing on the back of one of the Williams, I think it was. But apart from that, nothing to really say apart from the couple of swaps in positions between, I think it's Bran, Welty, and Artie and Killian.
Yep, there's the really good thing is they're all still quite relatively close, basically under a second from each other. So Dasher actually puts in the fastest lap, and I just saw Welty actually go really wide there coming onto the pit straight. So I don't know if he maybe lost the back end a little bit and had to divert straight off the track, but he's now fell down to 1.2 seconds behind Bram, so this is usually what we see even when it's a bigger field. It doesn't matter if there's like 5 drivers or 15, we usually see them drop into little groups and then fight amongst themselves, because obviously if you'll know this as well from being on track, the minute you start fighting someone you lose time, especially if the person in front of you has clean air. You start to lose a lot of time to that person trying to defend your position.
Also, particularly if the person in front has degraded tyres and they do put up a fight, even though it will be completely detrimental to them if they when they do put up a fight, then you're going to lose a lot more time than if you both had fresh tyres from like a pit stop or something.
Yeah, I think one of the baddest things that ever happens to a driver, obviously you can tell when they sort of suffer some form of wing damage at the start. I mean, if it's not massive, because you've not got the full downforce, it just degrades your tyres so much as well. It's rather annoying, but it does look like Artie has actually fallen a little bit back, but Welty has actually caught back up to Bram, and he's now under 1 second. So Dasher, Welty actually puts in the fastest lap, 1:43 flat. So
surprised about that.
It does look like
massive tank slapper coming out of the second to last corner. Surprised he caught it, to be honest.
Maybe Welty actually wants a Williams 1-2, which, if we're telling the truth and we're being honest, would never ever happen. Just never ever. In real life, that is. It would never ever happen.
No.
But it's definitely a possibility here. But I mean, I've seen Bram race quite a lot actually, and he's a really competent driver. He's got a really good defence under his wing as well. So it does. Well, he's actually spun it. Oh, has he lost his wing? He's lost the right hand side. Yeah. Wow.
He was
so well. He's actually dropped
so much the past couple laps.
Yep. I think it's just caught up with him as he's came into the corner, but it's actually most of these guys. Killian's actually received a penalty, and most of these guys are running
the rest of his front wing.
Oh, so he's definitely making a pit stop then. But yeah, most of these guys are running with no assists. So I wouldn't know about the no assist because I actually run medium traction and corner line. So it looks like Welty may actually be.
He's in the wall again.
Yeah, he's hit the wall. It's back to what we were saying earlier. Once you lose your front wing, it's just so difficult to turn that car. He's hit the wall, he's out. Yep.
I was about to say, it's a good thing that Williams has a scaffolding pole like front, but he was taking liberties there.
Well, these guys run no assist, so you have to know when to hit the throttle, and if you hit it too much, the wheel spin is just unreal. But I did See, I have heard quite a few times there's a little trick you can do to stop wheel spin, basically, if you're using no assists, and it's just to throw the mix down. Oh, Welty's actually. Oh, yeah, I was just about to say Welty's left, but he's crashed. Yeah, it's to actually knock your fuel mix down into lean. It reduces the risk of wheel spin, and then as you're going into a corner and as you come out, hit it back up into standard, and it should kind of take away the motion of wheel spin a little bit. I wouldn't say it was foolproof, but I have used it before to try on no assist. It does kind of work, but you still have to know when to hit the throttle and when not to, because you can actually still spin the car, but it does help a little bit. But as we can see, Bram has actually caught up to Dasher, so could the Renault driver be mounting an attack on the Williams driver? This would be interesting, actually.
He was also putting quite a bit of pressure on him through sector 2, because you know the hairpin after the bridge, Dasher actually hit the wall with his side pod, so Dasher obviously eager to get around these corners as quickly as possible so he can get as far away from him on the straights as he possibly can.
Yeah, I think Dasher will be wanting a little bit of breathing room now, because obviously we're on lap 5 at the moment of 31, so it's definitely starting to look like Bram and Dasher are going to be pulling away. They're 5.2 seconds away from Artie, but Artie is currently, as it stands, on the podium, so it will help him quite a lot. But I think it just depends what happens with these two, because obviously if something happens and Artie takes a lead, it's not going to help Dasher, so or the Williams team, but it's not going to help the Williams team that Welty's actually went out, because I think they were actually the only 2 team members that are in this race, because Bram's teammate's not in it, Artie's not, and neither is Killian's, so there was 2 Williams on the field, but now there's only 1.
You put the commentator's curse on it a bit with that 1-2 for a Williams.
Yeah, I think I did. Yep, I definitely think I did.
For a second there, I got a cross next to Dash's name. So if that goes, then we've got a very boring 25 laps coming up.
Yep. I wouldn't say it was stupid, but I would just say there's no really any point in streaming for 4 drivers, because it's not that it's not going to be exciting. It can be, but I mean the top 2 are within a second, and then you have Artie who's 5.5 seconds behind, and then Killian who's 2.5 seconds behind Artie, and I'm pretty sure Killian's actually, he does have wing damage, so it's more than likely he's going to be trying to pit at some point soon to repair that. But he's also going to be quite slow out the corners, because he's going to have to slow down quite a bit to make the corners. But we'll just have to see, because it can heat up, as Bram is actually really close to the back of Dasher. He's now 3 tenths behind him. It dropped down to 2. Has done it again.
I'm currently looking at Artie's wing, and I don't think he does have wing damage.
No, it's Killian that has.
Oh, Killian. Let me have
Killian's got damage on the right hand side. His force cylinders. You can tell when he goes into the corners, he's having to slow down extra slow to go just to make the corners. Dasher actually clipped the wall. Yep.
Did he?
So is the pressure getting to Dasher?
Yeah. So even though it's only 2 potential drivers fighting for it, if they sit there, it still could be quite exciting if we see just, I don't know.
It's going to be quite interesting to see who. Well, it'll be quite interesting to see if this stays like this for most of the race. It'll be quite interesting to see who pits first. Because obviously Dasher will want a bit of a gap, and Bram obviously wants to get past Dasher and try and build up a gap as well. It'll definitely. Oh, yeah, I think Dasher actually just about clout that wall.
I think it was just his tyre, so he didn't lose any wing. So That's good for him.
No, yeah, I think it was just the outside of his tyres, but you can tell Dasher's definitely pushing. He's trying to get away from that Renault driver, but it just doesn't seem to be working. It looks like Bram is all. It really does look like someone's just glued both cars together, and
I mean,
Bram is all over the back of him.
if that Renault can stick that close behind that Williams with dirty air, then it is quite evident that Renault is a lot quicker than that Williams at the moment.
Yeah,
so even
definitely.
if Dasher hits a lap early, Bram could jump him with the pace that he's got, even with older tyres.
Yep. Yeah, it definitely could. I think it comes down to. I think these two did almost the same amount of laps in qualifying, so their tyres should be relatively similar.
That was close.
Yeah, he's definitely getting really close. Yeah.
I mean,
I am thinking if
that was a
one
double
more
front
driver
lock
goes
up
out,
from both drivers. That was a bit too close for comfort. As that actually cuts that corner a little bit. Looking at the camera from the curb, honestly, this car was off the racetrack. So, why did he get a warning?
Bram's just hit the wall.
He lost any wing? I can't tell because that wing is pitch black. Can't see anything.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was just going to say, if I think if one more driver goes out, there's no point in running the stream because obviously all the drivers will receive a podium place, but hopefully that it won't come down to that because the other 4 drivers are still running at the moment, and I'm actually just going to have a look on board. Yeah, you can't really see much from the Renault, the Williams because both front wings are carbon fibre, so or black carbon fibre, so we can't really.
Clever livery design.
Yep, I think it is. Yeah, it's Dasher's still holding out well. He's putting his car in the right place. It's just yeah. Every time he comes out of an exit, I think he's hitting his accelerator and straightening the car a bit too early, and he's almost hitting that wall. I'm actually going to ride on board with him for a little while just to see. He's definitely. He's not. I wouldn't say he's losing time. I think him and Bram are actually almost identical in pace, but I think that's probably because Bram's behind Dasher.
Just half spun and lost half his front wing. So if I was him, I'd come in right now.
Yeah. Pit now, change to the longer stint tyres, and then
I
come
don't know
back
if
out
he
and try
actually
and
hit
catch.
him or just dropped it under acceleration, but I have a feeling it's a mixture of the two. That
Yeah,
was
more
a very
than
strange
likely is.
spin for that speed.
He is coming in.
But be very careful also not to speed in
Yeah.
pit lane, 'cause of course it is only 37 miles an hour.
Yep. I would definitely be as well, but not just because of getting a pit lane warning, or a speed warning in the pit lane. It's because if you're coming too fast and cut across that white line, you can also receive a severely hefty penalty for that as well. But yeah, there he goes, new front wing. He's on the super soft, so
if he nurses them extremely well, he could go to the end on those.
yeah, I think he could. It's probably going to be really basically a massive gamble, and you'll definitely have to nurse them, but it will be interesting. But so Dasher now has a little bit of a respite. I wouldn't say a massive one, but he does have a little bit of a respite, because obviously Bram's now down in 4th and currently 21 seconds behind Killian, so he does have a little bit of a respite. So we'll see. I don't think he'll respond right now.
No.
His pit window is between lap 9 and 14, so now to lap 14. But if I was Dasher, I'd probably try and go as far as possible before pitting, because he'll want to put in his. I think he's coming in now. He is coming in now.
Reacting to him, even
So
though
obviously Yep. It may actually be that maybe the ultra soft tyres have went off, but Artie's actually going to take the lead of the Grand Prix, because he's obviously not pit. He's started on the super softs. Is Killian going to? Oh, Killian's in as well.
So if Artie actually holds up Dasher, then he'd come back.
Yes.
It's going to be quite interesting.
Possibility. Yeah, it definitely will be. I think it's going to be one of those things. Well, Bram's just passed Killian now. Killian had to obviously replace his wing as well. So if Dasher manages to catch Artie and they two begin fighting, it's definitely going to play into Bram's his basically game plan for the race. Obviously, coming into the race, you have a different game plan, but when you get wing damage, you have to kind of change your strategy up a little bit and decide on what to do next. But this will definitely play in Bram's favour. If Dasher catches Artie and starts battling with Artie, he's probably going to try and push as fast as possible. But
also, Dasher's got to push extremely hard, because he's potentially got one more pit stop than Wonson has.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Dasher's actually came back out on ultra softs, so he's obviously going for the aggressive strategy, where he's going to go for the faster stint in the first and middle part, and then more than likely he's going to move to the super softs for the final stage, the race. But I really don't know if that'll work, because if Bram moves on to say another set of ultra softs for the final stint of the race, he will be a lot faster than Dasher. Same with Artie as well. Artie may move to ultra softs, but Dasher's currently took 2 seconds out of Artie. And that's only in about maybe half a lap, coming up to a full lap. So he definitely is pushing. As Bram just sets the fastest lap, so it looks like he's pushing as well.
I think Killian at the moment is just praying that somebody ahead of him puts it in the wall.
Oh, Killian gets a 3 second time penalty.
He just does a power slide through the second to last corner.
Yeah, I think some of the drivers would rather this race was over. And
There's
just finish with, but
really happening, to be honest. Not really much to commentate on.
There's not really. This is why I think this is why most commentators, when there's only like maybe 5 or 6 people in the lobby, they don't really like to stream and commentate. It's just because nothing really happens. Because as we can see by the race order, Artie has 12 seconds over Dasher, and if Artie decides to pit, then it just means that Dasher's going to take back the lead, and he's probably going to get about, I don't know, probably about maybe 10-15 seconds in front of Artie. Although we may actually, if Killian, has Killian got damage again? He doesn't, so it could end up, if Killian puts together a really decent lap and tries to catch them up, he could actually put Artie under pressure for the final podium place. But just the way the track's gone and the way the drivers don't like it, I don't think. I just think they're driving for the purpose of finishing another race, basically. Because most drivers like to be consistent in their racing, and they like to be there for every race. Even if there's only 4 or 5 people in the lobby, they'll still race. Because it's still points and it still counts. But most people would say, well, what's the point? But it's
actually looked at it. The time we could have left is over half an hour left till this race finishes.
Yeah, wow.
So
well, they're on lap 12 or 31, and well, Dasher's actually now down to 10 seconds from Artie, so he is
very quickly.
Yeah, he definitely is catching Artie, but whether Artie...
As he almost hits that wall. God.
Yeah, that was close. Oof. Artie's taking it a little bit wide as well, so I don't think his tyres... See, his pit window's 11 to 17, so if he... It says if he... This is one thing as well that I like to point on when watching or when streaming and commentating over it, is the pit now rejoin position on your telemetry screen. That I never ever pay attention to that because it's always wrong. It can't determine how fast the driver behind you is. So it's telling Artie right now if he pits he'll come out. Oh, there goes Killian.
Oh, he hasn't even. He's just pressed the button to retire.
Yeah, he's just decided to.
He's not doing another 18 laps of this track on by himself. To be honest,
yeah. This is yeah.
This is gonna be quite stretched out. I mean, we may as well stay until the battle between Dasher and Artie is over. After that, I can't really see anything else happening in this race.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, before. I don't know if anybody will remember. I don't think it was actually streamed, but before WXL became WXL, it was FFR.
Yeah, I was on that.
Yeah, in fact, the both of us were, and it was actually the first league I ever got a podium on. It was classic racing. It wasn't this, it was the classic cars we were racing. And my first podium actually came at Monza, I think it was, when we were racing in Italy. And I think I finished third. And so first podium. But, I mean, it's just, I know every driver wants a podium, and obviously if someone goes out, they feel brilliant because it means that they're one place higher. But for me, I've been called weird before because I don't like when other drivers go out, for the simple reason of it's too easy a win. I like to earn the win, even if it means I lose the place. I really don't care, as long as I'm racing someone and I can gain the place by overtaking someone. I feel better, because if I just gain a podium by someone going out of the race or crashing or whatever, it's just, it doesn't feel the same. You can't have that pride of, well, I beat like 18 other drivers, to saying, well, I didn't really beat anybody because 2 other drivers that were in the lobby went out because they crashed. So, or one of them crashed and the other one gave up. So
FFR was in quite a bad state before we rebranded it as this, but I mean,
yeah, it was.
If you can remember the day that we decided to like rebrand it all and like make it all, there was, I mean, I was ready to race and no one was alive in the chat. No one was setting it up. No one was talking. No one was doing anything. It was just completely dead.
Yep. I think at one stage when we were racing, there was only like 4 of us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
In fact, there was.
There was one race where it was just me, Artie, and someone else. I can't remember who it was, and it was Mexico. In the 92 Williams.
Yeah, I think that was me. One of them, there was only 4 of us, and I got second place in, which I found quite funny. But I mean, Dasher's actually caught Artie now. He's 2.8 seconds behind him, so he's rapidly catching him. I think that obviously this isn't going to fall down to who get well, if they fall on the podium, because obviously all 3 of these drivers will be on the podium. It's just now down to a question of where they finish. So it does make a big difference if you win the race or you don't win the race. But I'm just having a look at the chat.
Yeah, let me have a look again.
Yeah, I don't think anything was said yet. Although we do have 4 people currently watching us, so...
To be honest, I think at least 3 of those are people in the lobby, so...
Yeah, they'll
they'll
probably,
just want to,
I would say...
watch back
Yeah.
if there's any incidents. And so far, there actually haven't been any.
Well, Dasher is now 1.3 seconds behind Artie, so...
So there could be one in a minute.
Yep. I definitely think there's a possibility there might be one. Well, Bram's actually only 4.8 seconds behind these two as well, so... and closing as well. He's actually he's kind of hovering between 4.8 and 4.7.
That just shows how hot the track is.
Yep. Well, Dasher's now under a second from Artie. Will Artie peel off and pit? He doesn't, he stays out.
If he just like pulls over to one side and just lets him through, it's going to be the most anticlimactic thing ever.
Yep. Yeah, definitely will be.
And on top of that, he just started lagging. Oh god.
Oof. Well, Dasher's right behind him. So...
he's defending.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to give the place up easily.
I have a feeling though, with those fresher tyres, he's going to get a much better exit.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's now on the inside.
Too hard.
Oh,
maybe he is.
Artie goes wide. Yeah.
No damage made in that contact, I don't think.
Nope. It was
just a bit of a wheel bang.
Yeah. I think it was Dasher's tyre to Artie's side pod. Probably Dasher just giving Artie a friendly nudge, just saying, excuse me.
I think another bit of perhaps to do with lag a little bit as well, because he was jumping about a little bit. So Artie probably didn't know Dasher was there right until the last second.
Well, Bram is now almost on the back of Artie as well. He's 1.9 seconds behind Artie. Artie's currently dropping down from Dasher 1.4 seconds, so Bram's had a really good comeback drive from obviously having that little moment where he lost part of his wing, fell down the order, had to pit. Now he's back behind Artie.
Did he just lose part of his wing? He just got a bit of slide on and hit the wall, but I don't think he lost any behind the Renault.
Don't think so. No, his car still looks fine. Vapid's just commented saying battle for the win.
It isn't, right, okay.
Yeah, Vapid's just commented saying battle for the win. It'd be good if we could actually see the 3 of them battling for first place. That would actually be really good, but I don't think Artie's tyres have got it left in them as Bram is... Yeah, Bram is now passed, so he's into second place. We could possibly maybe see Bram catching up to Dasher. It's a slight possibility. But obviously the drivers are definitely going to feel like the race is dragging on because it's
so little people.
Yeah, 17 laps in of 31, and there's only 3 drivers left. So
I think Dasher's pulling away from Bran and Bran's pulling away from Artie. So they're slowly getting more and more spread out as the race goes along.
Yep.
I'd probably have to pit, which will put him behind Bran and probably maybe Artie as well. It's just a question of where Dasher finishes on the podium.
Bram's not actually currently helping himself because every time he goes into one of the corners he's locking his tyres up, so that's going to be degrading his tyres quite a bit. And if he wants to run to the end where he's possibly going to try and make the move on Dasher when he moves into the pits, he may not actually make it to the end. But he does have his pit window hasn't actually changed, so as Artie's actually in the pits.
Really?
Vapid's put why doesn't the race just end?
Could he get this to the end? Possibly, he's very careful with it.
Vapid's put why doesn't the race just end if it's only 3 people? LOL. Well,
How do you answer
because
that question?
yep. Well, mainly two things. One, none of the owner hasn't told us to stop streaming because there's only 3 left, and because he's, well, I would say the co-owner, because he's actually currently in the race, and I don't know actually. Probably because I've nothing else to do.
I mean, if it was up to me,
So I might as well.
this would be the last lap because nothing's going on. This is
Yep.
probably the
Oh,
order
yeah.
that it's going to finish in.
If it was up to me, it would have ended the minute Killian decided to leave the race. It would have just ended there. But
I mean, if this isn't the finishing order, I'll eat my words. But this is probably what's going to look like at the finish.
yeah, it definitely does.
Maybe with a swap of Dasher and Brand.
Well, yeah, Bram's
Bram's
bringing
actually
the
catching
gap down
Dasher.
a little bit. Yeah, he definitely is. I think the super softs are beginning to kick in for him, but usually when you find the super softs are kicking in,
They're going off at the
they
same
don't
time.
have much. Yeah, they don't have much life left in them once they start to kick in, because that's when you know you probably only maybe have 5 or 6 laps left, and then they'll start really falling off, and your pace will drop. Dasher's bound to know that. I think that's why Dasher chose to go from ultra soft to ultra soft, because he knows that if he moves to the super soft for the last part, Bram's going to have to follow him into the pits and probably change to ultra softs, and maybe Dasher's hoping he can make a fast getaway from the pits. But then you would have to think about it in the long run as well. Dasher's tyres are going to last a lot longer than Bram's, and Bram's going to be pushing like mad if he does move to the ultra soft. There's a lot of different scenarios can happen, but it looks like Dasher's actually losing signal as well, because Bram has just closed up massively. He's 1.3 seconds behind them.
That one hairpin, he caught up 7/10. So I have a feeling Dasher got a massive lock up in that corner and just went extremely wide, which is actually very easy to do in that corner as well, because you've got to brake, turn, and downshift all at the same time.
Yeah, it's see, it's for the past couple of days I've actually been using my controller, not my steering wheel. I'm not faster on the controller because Dasher's in.
One bit of action.
So this is
one bit of action.
Yep, this is going to give Bram the lead. Yeah, I've been using my controller because the accelerator pedal on my steering wheel has decided it doesn't want to work in F1. So I'm going to have to try and sort that problem. But the controller, I would probably say it's definitely a little harder because you've got, obviously with the steering wheel you have the paddles at the back of the wheel, so you're not really thinking about, Artie put in the fastest lap. Yeah, you're not actually thinking about changing gears and stuff. It just comes automatically to you. But when you're on a controller, because you're pushing buttons, you're having to think about where's the button I need to push, where's
by the way,
the button for downshift. Oh wow. Yep, Dasher's no longer here, so just wow.
That's it, surely. Nothing else is going to happen.
No. Artie's currently 26 seconds behind. I don't even think Dasher will make it back in. He may do, but I doubt it. And he's going to lose so much time over Artie.
I'll just put in a chat, give it a suggestion, and if Archie did carry on, I swear there's nothing else is going to happen.
Yeah, Dasher's not came back either, so I mean we're basically down to 2 runners, which is pretty pointless because Artie's almost 30 seconds behind. So it's, yeah. I'll probably get my bollocks ripped off, but I'm actually going to make the call. I'm not streaming this. This is 2 drivers and they're like 30
I've
seconds
already
apart.
confirmation because I'm hosting it.
Oh wait, you're hosting the lobby?
Mm.
Oh well, that actually makes it even worse.
If I leave, everything will go bad.
Yep. So sounds.
Game is actually on at the moment in football. Or is everyone just lied so they don't have to use Singapore?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get it, but I've messaged Artie just to say to him that I think we should just end this now.
Yeah.
Obviously with 2 runners, it's pointless completely. To me, it should just be reran some other time.
Or just continue the championship and just
yeah,
sort of
or just
blank this one out.
Yeah, I mean the easiest thing to do that I would do is Bram's actually in the pits, so the easiest thing to do for me is just to scrap Singapore, because obviously all the drivers hate it. They don't want to drive it because it's an extremely long race, and it's just.
I'm pretty sure
I wouldn't say it is.
Watching this for half hour now.
Well, no, we've still actually got 4 people. But I can guarantee it's probably Killian, Welty, Dasher, and probably Trolled as well, and Vapid. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense to to keep on.
I mean,
streaming
RT
for
and
this.
Bran are quite close together, but apart from that,
Yeah, there's 2 seconds. I don't think. See, even with just 2 people, even if there's a battle, it makes no sense.
no,
I don't think they're going to be battling for 9 laps. Yeah, I can't see them battling for 9 laps all the way to the end. And Dasher still not came back in, and he's now dropped 21 seconds behind. So
he's not.
can't see him rejoining. Yeah, I can't see him rejoining. But
They're just going like 2-ish, 3-ish seconds apart.
yep.
Quite a bit of gap between them. And as soon as bombs
Yeah.
Bran catches up a little bit, RT just puts his foot down a little bit harder, sort of easing it right.
Yep. It's. See, I don't know. Would you say it's a bit of a hollow victory for Artie though? Because I mean, there's
If
only
he
2 of
stays
them
there.
in the lobby. Yeah, there's only 2 in the lobby. I mean, if it was me, and I saw that Dasher had fell almost 30 seconds behind, I mean, Artie's going to realise something's wrong with Dasher when he comes up to lap him in a couple of laps, because he's AI now. So surely then Artie will see.
He'll still be getting his telemetry behind him every couple sectors.
Yeah, so you'll actually see how far Dasher is back. And then he should.
Dasher left. He didn't disconnect.
Yeah, I don't think he stayed either. It's just.
Like Killian left. Welty just got bored, I think.
Yep. It's not. But there you go. I think Bram's trying to get Artie's attention.
Bran just crashed Artie.
Shaking.
Right.
Well, I don't think anybody would give him a penalty for it.
No.
Because the race has just completely went. Oh. Yeah, so.
Completely like numbed, isn't it? Nothing.
Yep. He's not even changing up to 7th gear.
No, I was wondering what he was doing then. I knew this guy strained his gears quite a lot, but going 6th down the main straight.
I think maybe he's actually trying to keep
to
with...
179 in 6th, but...
Well, I think he's actually trying to stick with Artie for the, the entire race. Maybe try and make a move on him at,
oh, hang on there.
on the final lap. Oh, no,
Oh.
he's making a move now.
If the two
Yeah, that was
ladies
close.
just wiped each other out. Roy versus Renault, it's 2006 all over again.
Yep. I'm pretty sure Artie's tyres are actually a lot older than
Yeah.
Brand, so...
Lot better exit from Brad.
Yep.
Gotta go around the outside. We have seen this done before. Will he stick it?
Yep.
No, Artie's still... He's still there. Artie's gonna have the inside line again into the next corner. And he just pushes him. Bit of
Whoa.
contact there. Brand, just lets him go.
Yeah. I think that was the best idea, just to back out of it, because obviously the... In fact, nah, I should have stuck with it. Took the both cars out. Oh. He's he's
I think
sliding
Brian-
left and right.
Yeah, he did try to find any opportunity and just throw a dive bomb.
Yep. Well, Dasher's car's now dropped down at 46 seconds behind these two, so sliding sideways a bit.
Brand's brakes, I mean, no offence, they need to fail at the moment. And while he's like right behind Artie.
I think Artie's tyres have actually went off. So
Yeah, because he's sliding them. They're both sliding around all over the place. Brand
Yep.
because of the dirty air and Artie because of the tyres.
whoa, Artie clipped the wall.
Tapped the wall, did a little bit of a drift tap there.
Yep.
I wonder what this is going to be like watching it back. I think most people watch this back just for us talking.
Yep. Well,
Rather than this
I
race.
definitely know I won't be.
No, because I think we both
That's
picked
for
our
sure.
own voices, but never mind.
Yep. Oh no, I don't like watching streams back that I've been commentating over. I hate the sound of my voice, but nope, you can't make it stick. You actually have
In
to
the
back
background
up a bit
now,
there
I've
because
got the
Artie.
string, but it's muted for a reason.
Yeah. Oh no, I've got it as well on my phone, but it's definitely muted. Don't try and make a move in there, please. Yeah, so they're 52 seconds now away from Dasher. So pretty soon they're going to actually be catching up with Dasher's AI car. But can Brand make a move this time?
Gonna try it.
He's definitely going to try.
Yeah.
He does try. Oh, that's wow,
And
that was
he is now ahead.
Yep, that was seriously late braking there.
That was Daniel Ricciardo-esque.
Yep, that was definitely a Daniel Ricciardo dive bomb. Did make it pay off. All to his credit, he did gain the place and make it. He didn't. I don't think there was any contact.
No, I think it was just Artie just tried to defend it where he couldn't.
Yep, he's
That's it, I think now. Surely nothing
Yeah.
else is gonna happen now.
as soon as they come up to Dasher's car, they must realise there's only 2 drivers left in it, and
Well,
it's just
I thought they would have realised already. Because Dashing was in
yeah, so would I.
58 seconds behind for no reason.
Dasher's asking in the chat if he'll still get his points.
Well, it will still be on the podium.
Yeah, he will be actually. Albeit it'll be his It's AI card, but still.
This is the least amount of finishes I think there's ever been in a league race.
Yes.
2.
I've never actually seen only 2 people finish. So this is a first for me.
I think one thing that would give this league a bit more appeal if they got an idea from a league I also used to race in called LOR, where you'd have 2 sprint races in one day. Well, you'd have one normal race like this and the sprint race before, but the sprint race before would be a classic car sprint race of 5 laps.
Yeah. See,
and
there's a big question mark over. There's a big massive question mark over classics because people hated classics. That's why, because I was trying to find an actual league where there was classic car racing because I quite like it.
I prefer them.
I just, yeah, so do I. But I couldn't find one.
Like,
I think it's just one of those things.
So much more. So much more fun to drive than the modern car.
Yeah, they just are.
Especially the 3 best ones to drive, I think, is probably the RB6, the F2007, and probably the FW16.
Oh no, I love the 2004 Ferrari. I think that is just amazing to drive.
That's the quickest out of all of them. The quickest one you'll either find is the F2004 or the 2010 Red Bull.
Well, I just love the sound of it. It reminds me of F1 when I started watching it. It just sounds amazing.
One thing that annoys me, you know, on YouTube where you have the top 5 onboards or whatever, when they cut to a clip which is like V12 or V10, they still have this stupid music overlapping it, so you can't hear what you want to hear. I mean, keep the music in for the V6s, I couldn't care less.
Yeah. It's. I do agree with you. It does get annoying because some of them will sit and say, "Oh, you need to hear this car," and then they've got music playing in the background, and you're sitting thinking, "Well, I can't hear it because your music's playing." So, kind of turn it off, then I will hear it.
Another thing, which a lot of people don't agree with me with, but one of the best sounds ever, is in 2011, where all of the cars had blown diffusers. That sounds amazing at times. Like, seriously amazing, especially the Mercedes one.
Well, the fondest memory I've got of F1 League racing was the last game, 2016. A final race in another league. I was at Brazil. I was doing quite well. I was running Mullen Racing 8th, and it was my first season for league racing ever online as well. And my brakes just went. No, before that race happened. Well, before that race happened, I actually thought that couldn't happen in the game. Like, your brakes can't fail, but I was wrong. Apparently, my brakes went red raw and then went black, and I had no brakes.
But it's very rare for it to happen, but it can happen. That's what they need to do for F1 2018. They need to make mechanical failures for the player a lot more frequent. I've had seen brake failures happen to the AI a couple times. For some reason they always seem to happen in Spain. I don't know why.
Well, I was in the Red Bull at the time, and the first minute I found out was when I was coming up to the corner before the final one in Brazil, and went to put the brakes on. Nothing happened. I ran straight off the track and basically had to downshift the car to slow it down, and then that was it. I dropped out of the points, and I was in a party chat with my teammate at the time, and I told him I may not be able to continue, and he went, "Why?" I said, "My brakes have failed." And his answer was, "I didn't think that happened in this game." I was like, "You're not the only one, but obviously it does." I did continue on with the race though, even though I didn't have literally no brakes. I just had to basically tiptoe around the track. Not the easiest to do, especially Brazil, when people are trying to lap you and you have no brakes. Probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, but we're actually on to the penultimate lap now, finally. We only have one left.
I've just been on my laptop for the last like 20 minutes because this has been like.
Oh, I'm actually in another chat. I'm talking to a few people.
Because I don't think we've actually missed anything. Because every now and again I've looked back up the screen and it's exactly the same as it was.
Well, I'm actually. It's quite funny because I'm actually talking about a FIFA team. So.
Oh.
So sitting on F1, commentating on F1, talking about the FIFA squads team that I'm in, and yeah.
I'm so bad.
At least it's not. At least it's not a Fortnite team. Oh no, it's okay. I'm not any better, so I wouldn't worry. I actually playing goalkeeper position, so I'm not the best, but I'm not the worst either. I've only played like 6 or 7 games, and I think my save rate's like 63% or something. So not the worst, but Bram's actually caught up with, I think that's Dasher's car, the Williams.
If he hasn't noticed
So
yet, he's going to notice now.
He definitely will now. There's only 2 of them left.
Apparently Dasher said he's just had his game paused. He hadn't actually.
Yeah, he's not left. Yeah, he's actually still in the game. It's just he's paused it.
I would have pitted on. I would have come back in the game on lap 29 and then pitted, tried to do the fastest lap on the last lap.
Well, Bram's actually on the last lap.
The track's the most rubbered in it's going to get. You've got the freshest tyres. You can pretty much do a quali lap. The only thing that's not quali is the DRS.
Well, let's put it this way. As it stands right now, Artie could probably pit about 5 or 6 times and still come out in second place. If he had the laps remaining, that is, but he's not, because they're on the final lap now.
I've never actually had an engine failure in F1 2017, which they said, quotation marks, was going to be much more frequent.
Yeah, I remember them actually saying that before the game was released, that engine failures are now, they're fully implemented so you can actually get one. I've ran in career mode with red parts and I still don't get a failure. It basically comes up, tells you, your engineer says to you,
when you get to 100%.
Yeah,
that's
basically when everything's falling off the car. That's when your car will fail. They basically tell you can't start the race.
WRC7,
and then when you do start,
I don't know if you've ever played it. It's got the right system. Because I remember I started. I think it was like a rally in Australia or something. That game is so in depth with mechanical things. One of my wheel nuts failed because the mechanic didn't put it on properly. And
was this Forza Motorsport 7?
WRC7.
Alright. Bram's actually won.
Especially the mechanical bits for it. Oh, my Xbox has actually just gone dim. Because I haven't touched it for ages.
Well, Dasher's finished and so has Artie.
You're going to bother doing first reviews?
No. I think we've bored everyone enough. But yeah,
this would serve better as a radio or something more than actual like.
Yeah, I think that would have been a better idea, just doing it without the picture and stuff. But yeah, we're gonna basically end it there. Hopefully it should be back to normal next week with Jack getting a new mic, and then I'll be in the Red Bull, and we will see everyone next week, basically. Yeah, you'll still be with Nuthead. I'll be in your car.
Because my wheel is broken. All hell.
Yeah. So we will catch everyone next week. where hopefully things will be a little bit better. But yeah, we'll catch everyone for next week's race. We'll speak to everyone later.